The Independent National Electoral Commission has announced the date for the off-cycle Edo State governorship election. INEC says the election will be held on September the 21st, 2024, in line with the provision of Section 28, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022, that the Commission publish notice for the election not later than 360 days before the date of the election. And as the race for the Edo 2024 governorship election continues to gather steam, political parties, aspirants, and stakeholders are gearing up for the D-Day. As preparatory events leading up to the September polls draw closer, political watchers say it may end up being a closely contested three-horse race. Aspirants of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the All Progressives Congress, APC, and Labour Party are already making solid moves to help cement their candidacy. An aspirant under the platform of the Labour Party in Edo State, Ogbemudia Bassey Osagie, a trained security expert, says he has much to offer to bring development to the state. He joins us via Zoom to tell us his plans to become his party's flag bearer and the lofty initiatives he also intends to implement if he becomes governor. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
I'm happy and grateful to be here.
Great, and it's good to have you as well. Now, let's begin with the fact that, as it has been reported, there are 30 aspirants gunning for the seat of the governorship of the state, of governor in the state, and about 15 of them is said to be coming from Labour Party, which your party, so to speak. What stand you out amongst these 15 persons that you feel your party in the first place might look at you as the flag bearer at the end of the day? What are you bringing to the table that is different from what every other person who are seen as strong contenders, who are said to have, built bridges, across the state, that how do you intend to contend with these persons? What stands you out from them, basically?
What stands me out first is that I have come with 24 years of law enforcement experience, expertise, both in Canada and in Nigeria. I have served the people of Toronto as a police officer for 24 years. I have a security company well established in Nigeria. And when you combine it and look at my public service record, that positions me in a very unique, with a very unique experience to be able to drive positive change in Edo State, to be able to foster the economic growth, and to be able to bring unity. What we need right now in Edo State, we're almost at a crossroad. What we need is someone who you can track their public record, someone who have devoted themselves to public service, someone who is competent, someone who have been accountable to the people of Toronto for 24 years. That's how I want to be accountable to the people of Edo State. What I've often said is that I want to bring Toronto, Canada to Edo State so that people don't have to travel away. I want the people of Edo State, the children of Edo State, to enjoy the same privilege, the same advantage, the same amenities that my children in Canada enjoy. I want the children of Edo State to enjoy it because when we were growing up, that is what we enjoyed. And if someone from Edo State, my dad was a farmer, my mom was a farmer. If I was growing up in a state right now, I would not be in the position where I am today. So I want to bring that back. And what stands me out is the major problem we have in Benin City, in Edo State, across the state, is insecurity. No country, no state, no city can grow or economically without an effective and efficient law enforcement. That is why I said I'm going to leave my comfort zone in Canada to go to Edo State and serve my people.
Right. And what informed your decision to join the LP? That's the Labour Party. This on the other hand, and then, for people on the ground in Edo, there's also a portion of them who say people like yourself, they refer to them as emergency politicians, as now that it is an election year, or an election year is upon the state, people come from, all over and now decide that they want the people to vote for them, as in how well are you known, for example, in Edo State?
Well, in Edo State, first of all, I was born and raised in Edo State. I was born in a village in Uhi, in the local government area of the state. I joined, to answer your question first, that's a good question to ask. The first thing, I joined the Labour Party because I believe in the Labour Party philosophy and the manifesto that is people's driven, is the democracy that encompasses and bring everyone to the table. And I have been obedient for a long time. And not just politics. When Obaseki was running for a second term in office, I openly came out to support him because I did not like the injustice that I believe at the time that the APC were given to him. So I supported him. When Peter Obi was in Canada for his visit while he was touring the world, I volunteered to provide security support for the obedient movement. And I'm not just coming up now. I have a security company in Nigeria that employ over 300 youths. I have always supported my people. I was the chairman of Ogbemudia local government in Canada for about 5 years, supporting my people. I have been involved with sending equipment, hospital equipment, in trying to mobilize my people. But the sole money little you can do as a private person in Nigeria. If you try to, I remember one time we sent a hospital equipment. They wanted us to get permission with the Commissioner of Health. And the bureaucracy is just so much. I decided I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to be in charge. So that way I'll be able to bring the thing that we need. In Edo State, people cannot go to farms. The money I used to travel abroad was given to me by my mother, who got it from farming, from selling pineapple, plantain, banana. That's how we got it. Today, our people cannot go to farms because they're afraid of kidnappers. They're afraid of Fulani herdsmen. What I'm going to do as a security person, what I have done to serve and protect the people of Toronto for 24 years, that's what I'm going to do in Edo State. I am going to form a security dragnet around Edo State so that anything that moves in and out or within, we will monitor it, we will stamp them out. Our people, even when they produce farm produce, crops, they cannot take this thing to the market because the roads are bad. Not only the roads are bad, the roads are not motorable, and the people are afraid to go on the road. I'll just give you a specific example. In about 2 weeks ago, I was going to Aunchi from Benin City to meet with some of my supporters down there. It took me about 4 hours to get to Aunchi. This is a place when I was young, traveling with my father. It took us about 45 minutes. Every spot you go, either this road is bad, or you hear the driver tell me, Oga, you be like say kidnapper, they here. Then we have to turn around. At some point, I say, you know what? We have 6 policemen with us. Let's be brave. Let's go through it. Let's drive fast, and let's get to our destination. We cannot have a segment of the population, our brother and sister in Edo State, in Edo North or Edo Central. We can't cut. It's like they have been cut off from civilization because they don't have access to good road. And these people produce a lot of farm produce that's supposed to come to the city for export. And then you wonder, why do we have so much poverty? So much poverty in our state because our people, even they can't go to farm, even they go to farm, they cannot sell it because the roads are not safe. That is what I'm going to change. I'm going to ensure my people are safe. I'm going to ensure our women don't get raped while they're going to farm. I'm going to make sure people can go on the road. That is the expertise I bring to the table that nobody else has. I'm not saying I'm the smartest, I'm the one, but I'm the one with public service experience. I know what it means to be a good policeman. I know what it means. You were just talking about Zamfara. Why do we have so much problem? Because our people are not trained. We have not invested in our law enforcement. We have not invested in our police force. People are crying about Mobad. Mobad that's not the issue. The issue is that have we trained our police force in solving a problem so that Mobad issue won't come back again? I know it's good to go on the street and demonstrate, but the question we should be asking for is to reform our police force. Do we have a protocol that follows when something happens? Do we even have a homicide squad to investigate? I used to work in the homicide in the past. Do we have a homicide squad that investigates such things? In Canada, there's what you call policing protocol. Every police station in Canada must have a sexual assault investigator, domestic assault investigator. Do we have such in Nigeria? So we are just, every citizen will cry, but we are not solving the problem. That is why I'm going to Edo State with all my experience, all my expertise to solve our people's problem, because nobody's doing it.
Right, but some will say that some of the things you have mentioned is not within the purview of the state governor. That has to be from the federal level. So we have to consider the peculiarities of the country as we look at adopting some of the things that you have mentioned. You mentioned earlier that what you want to do is to ensure that you are accountable to the people. And we have had, such conversations. We know that Canada has a system that holds people in power to account. But Nigerians have been talking about the matter of accountability in this part of the world, where it's seemingly difficult to hold persons in power to account. How do you want to ensure that? What do you want to do differently in that aspect?
Well, first of all, thank you for your question. The first thing about police force, I know in Nigeria, the police force is strictly federal, but sometimes don't let these people deceive you. These guys are getting about 1.something billion a month for security vote. You can create a security services. Ogbemudia Bassey Osagie, will create Edo State Security Service. They will be trained by professionals from Canada around the world. They will be equipped. They will have the same equipment that is used to combat crime. They will be able to do it. The Constitution never said you should not have your own security services. It just said you cannot have your own police force, but you can have your own police security services. In Benin, we have vigilante. We have Edo State Vigilante Network. They are there. It's just the only difference that they are poorly trained. They are not equipped. They don't have any strong arm to fight these bandits. But based on what they have, they are doing a great job. I went to my village the other day. I saw the way they were dressed. I donated some equipment and some clothing to them so that they can be very proud of what they do. And the other one about accountability. The issue is this. You need to elect people to office, people that have track records, people you know that you can trust. If someone all their life, all the past 24 years, you can track my record, you can know who I am, and you can see that I've been accountable to the public. Those are the kind of people you vote to power. Not people that will come to you and say, okay, hold me accountable. You look at them 5 years ago, they were 419 guys. You look at them 5 years ago, they are doing philanthropy, they are dashing away money. But you never ask them, where did they get that money from? So if you cannot hold them accountable during election process, during while you are trying to pick a choice, then you're not going to be able to hold them accountable when we come to the office. So track record, past character, what you have done in the past, how to be scrutinized. You talk about Canada. In Canada, certain things, if you have done anything shady in the past, nobody's going to elect you to office. And even if they mistakenly elect you to office, you are not going to stay there. You cannot hold accountable a thief, somebody who has been involved in fraudulent activities, dubious lifestyle all their life. You cannot all of a sudden hold them accountable. I want people to Google my name, check my track record, and see what kind of human being I am. Don't take my word for it. Find out who I am. That's how you're going to hold me accountable. The idea that somebody go to the office and then people start to worship them and try to worship you like God, that's how to be out. You cannot elect your godfather. You cannot elect somebody that you have to kneel down to greet before they come to power. You cannot elect them to office. You want to elect a friend, a community member to come to power. So that's how you hold people accountable. You cannot hold them accountable if they have a bad track record or you don't know their history. My history is well known. Go to my village, everybody know about who I am. We go to Benin City, everybody know where I grew up and where I have resided for the past 24 years. Everyone know who I am. That is what I bring to the table. And I challenge every other aspirant to declare what they have done, where they have been, their source of money for the past 20 years.
But what about the chances of the Labour Party? Of course, the primary exercise is not until about February, I think February or so, this before
Right.
the election in September. So election is about a year's time. But how bright are the Labour Party's chances when you look at, the fact that before now, the elections in Edo State have always been keenly contested between the APC and the PDP? I asked earlier about, the fact that people are saying that Labour Party is filled with basically newcomers, people that may not be known, which you have spoken to. But when you weigh the chances of the Labour Party against what people have said, the formidable APC or even the PDP, what do you say? How do you respond to these questions?
Thank you for the question. The most interesting thing about we, Edo people, and we usually refer to ourselves as Edo to the world, is that we don't align ourselves with political parties. Edo people, we align ourselves with individuals. That is why I have come out. Edo people want someone like me. And when I was going around Edo State last 1 month, people want someone who can deliver. Edo State is not APC, PDP, or Labour. Yes, we have a lot of 80% of Labour Party, people that voted for Labour Party are obedient. Some of them are PDP, some of them are APC, some of them are Labour. Edo people, we vote for quality and we vote our conscience. So I'm expecting Edo people to vote the same on the same line this time, to vote one of their sons who have demonstrated excellence in public service, someone who is credible, someone that know what a good system look like. I was talking to my uncle the other day. We were saying, if you go to the tap water to wash your hands and you don't know where the water is coming from, you don't know where the water is going, how are you going to solve the problem when you have leakage in your house? People are there in power. They don't understand the processes of a good government. I have a friend of mine at my house yesterday, a Nigerian policeman in Canada. He's from the Yoruba. I was asking him, what do you think we are going to do to solve the problem in Edo State? He said, look, Bassey, the problem is that if you don't know how a good system works, how are you going to change it? A lot of these guys just talk. They said they want to make Nigeria, Dubai. Someone asked me about it. How do you never work in Dubai. You don't know the processes. You cannot make a Dubai. But I am going to make Edo State, Canada, bring it to Edo State because I know how the system works. I know the public service system. I know the processes. And I know how I'm going to help my people. My people, we are poor in Edo State. Edo State doesn't have money. We have 40% unemployment rate. Edo State have the largest diaspora community abroad. We remit billions of dollars to Edo State every year. But when you go there, you don't see it because the government doesn't have money. The government is relying on remittance from abroad, borrowing, without trying to create wealth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create an enabling environment for my diaspora brothers and sisters. I'm going to create a diaspora desk where all our diaspora can come and invest. I speak to a lot of people. I have a friend here in Toronto here who owns a pharmaceutical company. He wants to take it to Nigeria, but he keeps saying, Bassey, the place is not safe. So I'm going to secure my state, our state, so that we can drive investment. That is the only way we are going to grow. Right now, we are not growing. It's flooding everywhere. No good road, no infrastructure, no good healthcare system. But you can't do those things without money. So I'm going to bring investment to Edo State, which is not happening right now. And you need a credible person to be the hem of the affair, to be in government, so that people will have confidence to invest in it. That is what I bring to the table.
Okay, let's quickly make judicious use of the limited time we have on our hands. I'm going to ask you two questions in one, because earlier you mentioned about godfatherism or something like that, and we see the rift between the governor and his deputy, and there are questions as regards how perhaps the Labour Party is positioning itself to take advantage of whatever the situation is that is going on to position itself to perhaps win the election at the end of the day. That's on the one hand. Then there's also the zoning factor that is being put forward. It is said that Oshomole hails from the Edo North and Obaseki
North.
Hills from Edo South, and that this time around, the people are considering that it should be zoned, the governorship seat should be zoned to Edo Central. How is that also going to impact your chances?
The first question is the route between in the PDP, especially between the governor and the deputy. What I would say about that, I remember a book I read from one of our brothers in Lagos, Dele. He said, "Do not die in their war." Some of these guys, some of these things is just a movie that eventually you see the end of it. So I wouldn't even talk about the rip in the PDP between the deputy and the governor. That I believe, I'm 100% confident they will resolve. I'm glad you asked me a question about rotation. I'll give you, I'll be brief. Rotation was created by those political crooks, elite that we have in Edo State. They created it to bring disunity among the Edo people so that they can always pick, say, it's the turn of the Edo South, turn of the Edo Central, so that they can always bring their people and make it as if the system is fair. The system is not fair. Rotation is undemocratic. And I'm from the Benin, Edo South, Benin-speaking Edo people. Every person from the Edo North, from the Edo Central, the Insha brother and sister, we are from the same ancestors. We are from Benin. So the Benin people, like me, speaking Benin people, I will refer to as Edo South. We never really look at it so big. I'll give you a very 1-minute history lesson. During the military rule, we have Governor, Deputy Vice President Ahomo. He was from Edo North. We have Ahomo from Edo Central. We have Akigbe from Edo North. Hopefully, I'm not missing both of them. Then we came the civilian rule in 1999, where Anene was in charge. The Benin-speaking people, Edo South, we never had one single minister during that time. Anene was the minister. He left, gave it to his boy, Ogbesha. The Onu may not become a minister. Then we have the last person we have now is Dr. Osagie from Edo South, from Benin. He was the only guy that came, and we know that he wasn't appointed because he was from Edo South. He was appointed because of, obviously, he's competent and because he also had people in government at the time. So we, the Benin-speaking people, have been marginalized. But you know why? I don't blame I don't blame us. We thought we're all the same. Plus, we also lack leadership in Edo South. And I will say this, we lack leadership because we never really have a good leader who have the interest of the Benin people at heart. But
what makes you think?
Let me finish.
Right, it's still on this point. It's still on this point of zoning. What makes you think that the Edo people are ready for these notions, these ideals that you just talked about? And, you know, again, what is the party's stance on the issue of zoning?
What I have spoken to Labour Party, people say Labour Party do not zone. They can tell me that in public, you know, it's politics. What they do behind closed doors is different. What I'm going to tell you that the Benin-speaking people have been marginalized. That's why we are 60%, 50-something, 60% of the population. So nobody's going to push us around and say, this is the person. They have been pushing us around because we don't have good leaders. Look at the Labour Party. Let me tell you, the Labour Party in Edo State right now, we have the chairman of the Labour Party from Edo North. You have the national chairman from Edo Central. You have the woman leader from Edo Central. You have the secretary of the party from Edo Central. But the youth leader, I'm not too sure of that. How can we even see that kind of arrangement? And you say you don't want Edo South person to be governor. I can't even imagine anybody. And if you look at the vote, these guys are talking about this. Although I want to unite the state, but I'm just talking of reality. Edo Central may not be able to produce more than 10,000.
You mean votes?
Oh. Unfortunately,
that was
network. Yes, I really wanted to hear where he landed with that conversation on what he said, what he was trying to say, whether it was 10,000 votes or something else. We really would have loved to understand what he was trying to point at with regards to the zoning because that's an interesting aspect of this election.
And this is politics, you know, even the psyche of the regular person on the street is turned by turn.
He's back. Yes,
Okay.
please quickly wrap up your thoughts. We couldn't hear what you were trying to say with the 10,000.
No, sorry, I could hear you. I was still talking. I'm saying that we, the Benin-speaking people, have been marginalized because we have no leaders who are stand for us, who believe in the people, who believe in our people.
Right.
So that is why I'm saying that no one is going to bully us this time. We, the young people from the Edo South, are saying we have been marginalized for a long time, but our leaders refuse to speak up, and we make up 57% of the population. I want to bring all Edo together. I want to unite us. But at the same time, we are not going to be bullied by selected few who are claiming to be righteous. That's what I will not stand for. That's what the young generation of people from Edo South, from Edo Central, from Edo North are saying. We want a person with credibility, with good character, with competence, who can save Edo State. Obasanjo is not running on a Benin agenda. Obasanjo is running on his own
What is the
agenda.
Benin agenda, quickly?
Well, I don't think we have, Benin people have never really talked about Benin agenda because we believe that every Edo people originally come from Benin. So what we want is somebody who can unite the state, who can preserve our culture and heritage. If we had a Benin agenda, how come we don't have a Edo museum? How come by now we don't have one single flyover in Benin City? And Benin City is crowded. Benin City is supposed to be the hub transportation of Edo State because it connects the north, the south, and the east. We don't have anything there because there's no Benin agenda. But I am going to change all that. Benin City is going to be the hub transportation. I'm going to bring back our cultural heritage. We're going to bring tourism to Benin. But you cannot do all that unless the place is secured. People are afraid to go out at night in Benin City. And that cannot happen. You cannot prosper if people cannot have 24 hours of doing business. Those are what I bring to that other people don't bring. People need to move free with their goods, with everything, and people need to be able to go out there and work 24 hours and do business 24 hours.
Our time is up. Right, our time is up. We must thank you, Ogbemudia Osagie, an aspirant on the platform of Labour Party in Edo State. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you for having me.